This is the Emerald City, Seattle, Washington, and over 4 days I will show you some of the best kept secrets of Seattle, from phenomenal food to the best hotels to stay at to hidden gems that most visitors walk right past, and some money-saving hacks as well. From a brand new waterfront park to the rich history spawned from the Klondike goldfields, the world-famous Pike Place Market, and more, Seattle is the birthplace of grunge and hands down one of my favorite places to visit. And there is a side to it that most people never see. Pies of the Space Needle. Never thought of it. Let's start things off with a little money-saving tip. So if you are flying into Seattle, you will land at SeaTac Airport. And Seattle has literally the most expensive Uber and ride-sharing rides in the entire country. But if you take the Symphony Light Rail line, it connects right into the airport terminal, and for only $3, it'll take you right into the heart of downtown, with a pretty great view over the skyline on the way, and it also definitely beats the alternative, which is a $70 Uber ride. Now, if you have not booked any flights, I cannot recommend taking the train into Seattle enough, and whether you're taking the Empire Builder west out of Chicago, through North Dakota, Montana, and the beautiful Glacier National Park, through the Cascade Mountain Ranges and into town, or from Vancouver, taking the Amtrak Cascades on the 4-hour ride along the coastline, with some equally fantastic scenery through the Cascade Mountains into the Olympic Mountain Ranges before arriving into Seattle's King Street Station, which, to be honest, is an attraction worth seeing on its own and one that I will never get tired of walking into. I literally find myself admiring this place every time I walk through those front doors, but we will revisit that a little bit later. Now, about 20 minutes from downtown sits one of the most unique experiences I think I've ever come across. The Lake Union hot tub boats. And yes, this is exactly how it sounds. Imagine a giant hot tub that floats, and then you steer it around a lake. That's the concept. It seats up to 6, and it also has a Bluetooth speaker so you can listen to some of your music on your way out to the water. Personally, I think there's nothing better than a little bit of Morgan Wallen playing on your way out in the water, but hey, choice is the spice of life, so you do what you enjoy best. Now, normally you would go out onto the water with your group, but I was just a party of one today. So the staff offered to give me a ride, and out of the docks, you get this pretty stellar backdrop of the Seattle skyline, downtown, the Space Needle, and even some seaplanes landing off in the distance. Soaking in the warm water, which is just such a therapeutic experience. I mean, the smell of the wood fire, that cool breeze rolling off the lake, with a few pockets of sunshine coming through. It is pretty relaxing. And while you can adjust the temperature of the hot tub by simply opening or closing the stove, I think I found a better way.
Damn! That was a good one.
The contrast between the warm water of the hot tub and the icy water of the lake was super refreshing and almost kind of like a sauna cold plunge circuit that I made myself. Not exactly what I expected when I woke up first thing this morning, but this is, in my opinion, hands down one of the highlights of Seattle. Life is good. Life is good. Now, Seattle is known as the Emerald City, known for its unmistakable beauty, being inside a temperate rainforest and nestled between the snow-capped Cascade Mountain Ranges and the ocean. But long before Seattle became known for coffee or even grunge music in the 90s, it was the Klondike Gold Rush that brought the city to life. And there is a fantastic Gold Rush museum near Pioneer Square explaining all of it, and best of all, it is totally free. When gold was discovered in 1896 near Dawson City in Canada's Yukon Territory, news of the discovery spread around the world seemingly overnight. Now, just 3 years earlier, the Great Northern Railway would complete its transcontinental railway into Seattle, and with Seattle being the closest port to get to the goldfields, Seattle boomed. Over 100,000 stampeders would take these trains across the country and into Seattle before boarding a steamship and then heading north for Skagway, Alaska, making the crushing hike up a Chilkoot Trail before building boats at the base of Lake Bennett and sailing over 450 miles to Dawson City. Now, of the 100,000 men, about 40,000 made it to the gold fields, about 20,000 actually found gold, but only 300 found anything substantial, and of the 300, only 50 men maintained any sort of wealth for any period of time after. But the biggest winners were not those miners, it was actually the city of Seattle, because when the Canadian government mandated that all stampeders carry a full year's worth of food and supplies into the Yukon, well, all those supplies came from Seattle and fueled the city into what we see today. And while most people have no idea of how important the gold rush was to Seattle's history, you've probably heard of its biggest benefactor, Pike Place Market. Pike Place was founded in 1907 by a man named Frank Goodwin, and he was one of those 50 men that found true wealth in the Yukon. And Frank wanted a place for people to, as the original sign says, meet the producer, bring farmers to the consumers, cutting out the middlemen, and also help reducing prices. And in a time where it feels like voting does not make a difference in today's world, this is the one thing that actually does. It helps keep money inside your local economy, support your local farmers, or in some cases even your neighbors, and not giving your money to the mega corporations. Now, I just did a full dedicated video to Pike Place Market 2 weeks ago and some of its hidden gems, but here is the condensed version.
Can't wait to see them throw a fish.
If you want amazing seafood, Place Pigalle is a French restaurant hidden behind the market sign with the best clam chowder I have ever had, and the seared scallops over a celery root puree with brown butter sauce. I would happily eat that off the floor.
And literally, hidden gem, hidden literally behind the Pike Place Public Center market sign. You gotta come try that.
Bagel Bop is another good one with their Salmon Lox bagel, which is built on a scratch-made everything bagel, loaded high with all the classics, cream cheese, and a fried egg. Pike Place Chowder has a mouth-watering scallop chowder served in a sourdough bread bowl, and I'm literally salivating just retracting this voiceover right now. But the bread bowl heating up from the warm chowder inside turns it almost into a bread roll, and it is absolutely amazing. But if you are looking for something sweet, skip the Starbucks line. It's an absolute tourist trap, because just a few steps away is the Hellenica Cultured Creamery, founded by two Greek brothers, Alex and Peter, and they are producing the creamiest gelato I have ever tasted. They're incorporating ingredients sourced directly from the market itself, from Earl Grey tea mix from Market Spice, which they are using in their London Fog gelato, or peanuts from CB's Nuts in their 7th inning stretch.
These nuts. Got him! Got him!
Whole pint of ice. And while technically the Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia is the oldest farmers market in the country, because it did open up in 1893 as the eastern terminus station for the Reading Railroad, Pike Place truly is the oldest and longest running farmers market in the country, and was almost demolished entirely in 1971 by the politicians that wanted to turn it into office towers and a parking lot, but it was saved by the very locals that built it, and they have continued to incubate small businesses here ever since. I mean, Pike Place literally has everything, and I promise that if you are curious enough, you will find it, including the absolutely disgusting gumwall.
That's so gross.
Now, behind Pike Place lies the completely transformed Seattle Waterfront. And when the Alaskan Viaduct opened here in 1953, it both literally and figuratively separated the waterfront from Pike Place Market and the rest of downtown via a massive concrete barrier. But following an earthquake in 2001, the viaduct had become damaged, and in 2011, the city would opt to begin demolishing and transforming it into a completely reimagined waterfront park. And in September of 2025, it opened in the new format that you see here today, reconnecting the city to Elliott Bay. From dramatic views overlooking the water, to the Seattle Aquarium, the Great Wheel, which is the famous Ferris wheel, and the ferries constantly coming and going across the Puget Sound to West Seattle, which I could happily sit and watch for hours on end. I love ships. But as great as all this is, my favorite part isn't actually any of those. It's actually these swings. I mean, I don't know who came up with this idea, but sitting down, In the Seattle sunshine, that cool breeze coming off the water, and just swinging back and forth, it is surprisingly peaceful, and sometimes the best attractions aren't even the most expensive ones. They're the simplest, and in this case completely free. And this waterfront park is perfect proof of that. Now, if you are looking for somewhere to stay near Pike Place, the State Hotel is literally as close as you're going to get without actually sleeping on the streets outside the public market sign. And originally constructed in 1904 as a dental office before being transformed into the boutique hotel in 2018 that you see today. From comfy beds to complimentary coffee and the best rooftop terrace anywhere in town. I had literally the entire place to myself with coffee in hand and a peaceful view overlooking the city, slowly waking up around me. And conveniently, you don't even have to leave the building for a great meal because downstairs you will find the Ben Paris restaurant. And if you have never tried halloumi with their spiced apricot honey mustard you get for dipping, it is so good, and I promise I will not judge you too much if you order 2 plates of these and call it dinner. Like, they are that good. Now, if you have a rather carnivorous cuspid like myself, just down the street is Cinder and Salt, and they do wood-fired steaks. And listen, I love a good fatty steak, and the marbling in the steaks picks up just such a phenomenal flavor from that wood-fired grill. It's absolutely incredible. And the burnt honey cheesecake with roasted pears is also a perfect way to finish any meal. And Seattle also has so much incredible architecture. I could honestly make an entire video dedicated to nerding out over some of the city's most beautiful buildings because there are literally so many. But the one that started it all for me was the Fairmont Olympic Hotel, or as I like to call it, Seattle's Castle. Built in 1924, I did spend 2 nights here before, and the rooms are absolutely gorgeous. The beds are definitely comfy. And the view out of my window of the Olympic mountain ranges is pretty awesome as well. The hotel does have the George Restaurant, which is the original 1924 tea room converted into today's Pacific Northwest style brasserie. And while the pan-seared Alaskan halibut was outstanding, I think their matcha tiramisu was my biggest surprise. It's not overly sweet, it is super rich, beautifully presented with some great texture components, and I don't even like matcha. It was that good. But the real showstopper is just steps away in the lobby. So this is the lobby bar, and this is a brand new addition to the hotel. It literally looks like out of a movie scene in a downtown New York City hotel. And if you didn't know any better, you would swear the hotel has been like this since it opened in opening day in 1924. But actually in 2020, they closed down, gutted, and completely renovated the entire lobby and some of the restaurants. And its place was, well, from a boring lobby to the lobby that they have now, which is cool, sexy, and exciting. And I think the part that I find the coolest, the artwork on top pays tribute to the ships that literally built everything in Seattle. This has to be hands down the most gorgeous lobby I've ever seen in my life. And forget about the fact that you can get a fantastic latte and espresso here. They literally just don't make them like they used to. It is so cool. And there is another gem a few blocks away, right where we started this video. The King Street Station was opened in 1906 by the Great Northern Railway, but there's literally a station next door, the Seattle Union Station, built by the Union Pacific and the Milwaukee Road. Now, this station hasn't operated any sleeper trains or really any trains outside of some light commuter rail in many, many years. And I've never seen anybody on YouTube cover that this station even exists. I mean, it's literally right next door, right across the street from King Street Station. But what a beautiful station. What a gorgeous, time machine. The fact that places like this still stand, and I don't want to do it any disrespect because this is an absolutely stunning piece of architecture, a stunning station, a beautiful station. It was designed for grandeur and to announce that Seattle was a city whose future had no limits, much like a New York or a Chicago at the time. And if you're enjoying this journey so far, hit the subscribe button or become a channel member for 99 cents. You get access to all my videos early and help support future adventures like this, as all my videos are completely self-funded. I'll put a link in the video description. Back to the video. Now, you cannot talk about Seattle without mentioning the Space Needle, and while these sunset views from the observation deck are absolutely phenomenal, as you see here, one of the best kept secrets to the Space Needle is actually the pies that they serve at the top. They are made in-house. Chef Gavin is making the pastry, making the filling himself. They got 3 savory, 3 sweet, They got a Wagyu barbecue beef, they got a ham and cheese, and a classic chicken pot pie, plus the sweet options. That is flaky. Listen to that crunch. And to give you an idea of how good they are, this is literally the first time I got on the glass observation floor. I was too scared to go the first time I came, but when I found out there was pies, that's what it took to get me here. Pies of the Space Needle. Huh. Never thought of it. And on your way down, sitting right at the base of the Space Needle, lies the Chihuly Glass and Garden exhibit. And it is such a relaxing spot to be. Beautiful blown glass sculptures inside, and also sprinkled throughout the entire garden component of the exhibit, and with the Space Needle towering over all of it. It is just so fresh, being the start of springtime. There's just a scent in the air, and listen, the day YouTube starts letting me capture scent and putting them in videos, it'll be in, but what a treat it is here. Now, long before the Space Needle, Seattle actually had another tower, and it actually held the title for Seattle's tallest building from 1914 until 1962, and that is the Smith Tower, or as I like to call it, the Giraffe Building, because the first time I ever saw it coming out of King Street Station, I thought it looked a lot like a giraffe. Obviously, let me know in the comment section, do you see it or do you not? But when I say the Smith Tower is probably a top 3 most beautiful building in Seattle for me, at 38 stories tall, I think it's pretty easy to see why. I've been obsessed with this for a while. The Smith Tower was an absolute engineering marvel when it opened in 1914. It was the tallest building in the entire United States outside of New York City, and the 3rd tallest office building in the entire world. And 38 stories was absolutely unheard of on the West Coast in 1914. And inside, some of the craftsmanship is absolutely breathtaking. Like, how beautiful is this elevator? Like, some parts are actually made of real gold that I can see myself in. But it gets even better. At the very top, there is a restaurant, which I actually did not know existed before coming in. And when you step outside of the viewing platform, it gets even better. From a view of the Dexter Horton building facing north, or right down 2nd Street, which, believe it or not, you actually used to be able to see the Space Needle from here only a couple decades ago. The Seattle waterfront, sparkling in the afternoon sun, the Great Wheel, and the cruise ship terminal off in the distance, the Seattle ferries coming and going at the terminal, and a massive cargo vessel heading for the port of Seattle. I still find it absolutely fascinating that these things move and they float. And directly below that sits Pioneer Square, which is actually the first ever neighborhood in Seattle. And finally, looking south, you'll find one of my favorite views in the city, Union Station and King Street Station. This is also one of those views that really hasn't changed much since the Smith Tower opened over a century ago. Although, I gotta say, it would be nice to see long-distance trains running out of Union Station again, but I'm just happy to have them around. I mean, this is just so cool. This is literally the original skyscraper in Seattle, and a view over Pioneer Square down there, old train yards, the rail yards that made way for Lumen Field and T-Mobile Park, and pretty much everything down there because of the railways. And in my opinion, one of the most sexy buildings in all of Seattle is right up here. For $25 too, what an absolute steal to get some phenomenal views over the city. Now, if you do have a few extra dollars kicking around in your piggy bank, there is a penthouse loft apartment on the top floor that is currently vacant and renting for about $17,000 a month. Now, assuming that you don't have that kind of money, the Smith Tower does sell these really cool postcards for a few bucks less. And I absolutely love picking up postcards and writing them to some important people in my life. Anytime I travel, like to my mom, just let her know that, hey, I love you very much, I miss you, and I wish you could be here to see this. But I would love to know the Space Needle, the Smith Tower, or the Columbia Center. What is Seattle's greatest tower? Please, let me know in the comment section below. Seattle is hands down one of my favorite cities to visit, especially when that sun comes out and shining through the clouds. I mean, this is in the middle of a rainforest after all. And the city also just smells so fresh all around, even throughout the downtown core first thing in the morning. It is something that I've never experienced in a city before, even in Vancouver where I live. And from a revitalized waterfront park to the hot tub boats on Lake Union, the OG farmers market, which is Pike Place, and all the mom and pop businesses inside, the rich history dating back to the gold rush, beautiful hotels like the Olympic and the State, or the hidden gem observation tower that is so gorgeous inside and out. I hope this video inspires you to come and experience the Emerald City for yourself, but I did save the best for last, and that is King Street Station, where next week I'm taking a train across America, 4 days, over 3,000 miles from coast to coast, starting here in Seattle, running along the shoreline of the Puget Sound and into the Cascade Mountains, through Whitefish and into the jaw-dropping beauty of Glacier National Park, past the prairies, old school steam engines, some of the most incredible train stations ever constructed, and ending in the bright lights of Manhattan. It is the greatest train adventure I've done to date, and that will come out next Sunday, and I can't wait to share that with you. But I would love to know, do you have a best kept secret of Seattle? Did I miss anything? Did I hit it right on the head? Whatever it is, please leave it in the comment section below, and if you got a story, I love hearing those. Please leave them down below, people. I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you next week for the train trip of a lifetime. I'll see you then.